and welcome to Young Turks Ideas Without Boundaries. I'm Shireen Bhan. India is the largest microfinance market in the world. In fact, the opportunity is being pegged at over 2 lakh crore rupees. Private equity investors are rushing in. Reports suggest that in 2010 alone, deals worth $88 million have been signed up. We're on the verge of seeing the first microfinance IPO, that is SKS Microfinance. But is all of this too good to be true? Are there danger signs that we should be watching out for? To shed light on all of these issues, we've got with us 3 entrepreneurial success stories from the microfinance space. Padmaja Reddy is a woman with a lot of passion. For her, no dream is too big. She started off with an NGO in 1998 and converted that into an NBFC in 2005. Today, she's one of India's most efficient microfinance institutions and has global aspirations. Here's the story of Spandana. A chance encounter with a rag picker was the turning point in Padmaja Reddy's life. By accident, she understood the power of microfinance well before it became fashionable. The start wasn't easy. Her formal foray into the world of microfinance began in 1998 in Guntur district when she launched Spandana to give the unbanked access to finance. But in order to scale up, Padmaja converted her 7-year-old NGO into a non-banking finance company. From a 10-member team to over 12,000 employees, in a decade, Spandana today is India's 2nd largest microfinance institution. With 1.3 crore loan accounts, 1,600 branches spread over 12 states, Spandana has disbursed loans worth 12,500 crores. With an enviable repayment rate of 99.99%, Spandana has about 4,000 crore rupees as assets under management. Padmaja claims Spandana's operating costs are almost 5 times lower than comparable costs of banks and other NBFCs. With investors like JM Financial India Fund and Low Capital on board, Spandana is gearing up to go global, diversify and hit the market in the next 12 months. Let me begin by asking you, you've been in the microfinance business in India for almost 12 years. What has this decade-long journey meant for you?
Initially, there was none to support. When I went to a few bankers and said that, please give me a loan, I want to give this money to poor households and I will recover money and again pay you back, they simply laughed at me. What are you? Because you are thinking like a fool. So because I was not able to raise loan funds in the initial 3 years, I was just doing local fundraising. I was collecting old newspapers, selling that newspaper. That is how I raised the initial 1 lakh.
But has that changed now? Are banks and financial institutions coming your way now more
today, because we are flushed with money. So because if you ask me what is the easiest part, because that I do in my job, because fundraising, that is the most easiest.
Really? Fundraising is today your most easy job?
Easiest, because I don't need a person. Because my balance sheet speaks for itself, my borrowers speak for themselves, and because my track record, because it tells them that this is the best portfolio that you can have to any bank. I have broken some of the myths about the microfinance.
What are the myths that you've broken?
Initially there was a myth that it takes 5 years to break even. Even if you're charging close to 40% effective rate of interest, since the loan size is very small, the operating cost is very, very high. That time it was 28%, 29%. So people believed that it takes 5 years to break even. But
that's not the case.
But we broke even in 6 months' time.
In 6 months?
In 6 months' time we broke even. There was a myth on scalability. When you are dependent on grants, when you cannot really break even, so because how can you scale it up? Because no investor will come forward. But again, since we were profitable, because we did not see an issue in terms of scalability, we have broken that myth about scalability and sustainability.
Okay.
So as an NGO, because there is no regulator, there is no accountability, there is no ownership, but again you are borrowing few thousands of crores, right?
Of course, exactly.
You need to give a comfort.
Exactly.
Then because we decided to really get into NBFC mode. So that is how because it was not a smooth sail, because all kinds of things, there were rumors in terms of saying that I do not exist anymore.
You fled the country, you to the extent of even saying things you are no more.
I'm no more, my husband is no more, but I went to the borrowers. Even if I'm no more, You have not borrowed from me. You borrowed from Spandana Sphoorthy Financial Limited. So how does it matter? But people cannot really understand these things. Like
We've got SKS hitting the markets with an IPO. Is that a consideration as far as you're concerned? Because you've been talking to big players like Temasek, etc. Are you looking at the IPO market, or are you looking at bringing on other investors at this point in time?
I have to provide exit opportunity for my investors. I gave them enough in terms of returns. They're extremely happy, like because they call me the rock star because I gave them so much. But again, we are working an IPO. I think like because we'll be taking 1 year time to make an IPO, and simultaneously I can see like because how the market really receives microfinance. So like because whoever really misses the bus, like they will be eagerly waiting for Spandana. And again, like by the time all investors got very well educated about microfinance, and it's only Spandana is the best choice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the rating agencies like CRISIL, etc., who have rated you as well.
Last year we got P1, and no other microfinance organization so far got that rating.
From 4,000 crores of assets under management, you're aiming at 10,000 crores by 2012.
More than 10,000 crore.
More than 10,000
very conservative in terms of what we tell to people. Yeah, like because I can commit 10,000, but I'm sure that like,
it's almost double.
we'll be achieving like 12,000 crore.
How do you defend yourself when people say microfinance institutions are now moving towards the trend of being profiteers?
How does it matter? Like because if you just look at the client, they feel that like because we are just paying the service charges. You guys are coming here all the way. Every service is available at the doorstep. We don't have any opportunity cost. Like we can focus on our work, and like because we have money available. This say 6 paisa or 7 paisa on every 100 rupee per day. Even on a 10,000 rupee loan, it is like 7 rupee interest what they pay per day. If you look at like a poor household's return on equity, for example, a fish vendor during the week, she invests about 3,000, and at the end of the day she earns about 4,000 rupees. Her net profit is 1,000 rupees. When she is earning 1,000 rupees, if she has to pay like 75, like is that hurts her? Like people don't understand like these basic calculations. People say that like because you use coercive mechanisms, like 43 lakh borrowers, like because do I have, how many gundas do I need to have? Can I do that? Like do I have a magic stick in my hand?
Like, to persuade 43 lakh borrowers, I don't think
to repay on a weekly basis, right? Like they have to gather 43 lakh borrowers, like because in a week's time, I collect like because every month like my recovery is 600 crore. On a daily basis, like my recovery is 20 crore. And this money I recover like between 7 to 10 in the morning, 3 hours. Like do I have either I need to be a superhuman being to do this, or I need to be
a superhuman being for having to, for pulling off these numbers week after week. In the next 8 years as far as microfinance is concerned, what can we actually expect for you?
I will become global #1 microfinance organization. We will be the #1 microfinance organization across globe, not only in terms of numbers, but in terms of differentiating ourselves by being able to offer like several other services other than just credit.
In fact, I was just going to talk to you about your plans to diversify, and you've gotten into healthcare. You're setting up these rural hospitals largely focusing on maternity health.
Maternity. I heard stories like because a woman like who borrowed like 10,000 for her C-section, cesarean operation, like she was paying like 1,000 rupees for the last 10 years, right? And she paid like 1 lakh interest on a 10,000 rupee loan, like when
so you're bringing down the cost of healthcare.
So like because I'm saying like because my belief is like poor people today, there are like enough market opportunities. The market is not really understand this segment well. But the only thing is you need to have a proper financial product attached to that.
So like outside of healthcare, what else are you looking at this point in time?
Today like we have huge number and network, right? And like it works, it creates magics, it creates miracles. For example, I can go to Wipro. I can say that like because, come on, like I can buy like 1 crore soaps. What is the price that you can offer to me? So while selling 1 crore soaps, you don't have distributor cost, you don't have dealer cost, you don't have wholesaler cost.
So you could
don't
look
have
at becoming a retail channel as well.
That's what we're already doing. Like we are buying oil, we are buying rice, we are buying dal, and this is all to the benefit of like our poor borrowers. Like because it's not that like you can always increase the revenue. There are ways to increase reduce their expenditure. The net impact will remain same.
You know, you were earlier talking about the challenges that there was a lack of regulation before you actually turned into an NBFC and so on and so forth. On the regulatory front, given the fact that you're seeing such a rush of money into this space, do you think that there are any gaps, any loopholes that need to be plugged?
Not really. Like today RBI is so conscious. They are directly going to our branches. They are meeting our borrowers. Like because initially, like because about a year back, about 2 years back, they didn't have their first-hand information like about microfinance. They were just depending upon academicians. Today, like they have great comfort because they have whoever goes to the ground level, they understand the reality. From 10 people, like because microfinance organization growing to like 4 million, 5 million, that itself speaks for ourselves, right? Every month, like because we are just adding like 2 lakh clients. So like because there is no magic stick in my hand. So it is just because of my service.
All right, Padmaja, on that note, many thanks for joining us on Young Turks. Thank you so much for
Thank you
speaking
so
to us
much.
On that note, we'll take a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere. We will continue our focus on the microfinance industry in India after this short break.